broadcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the broadcast with Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen. My name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is season 7, episode 34, episode number 304. How's it going?
It's going good.
Yeah.
We are recording on Thursday again this week. I am recording from my bedroom because my parents are currently downstairs in the office where I usually record. So that stack of things you see behind me, that is things that I have stacked up in the corner that I need to take to donate.
I have a similar stack. I keep it behind the chair. So you
Well, this is the chair. This is the chair and that is the behind. It's just up on something. There's one of those like pull out plastic drawers are in there with like seasonal stuff and sheets, extra sheets.
Nice.
Anyway, yeah, my room currently is a disaster because all of the things that were in the kitchen that I didn't have time to physically put away before my parents got here, just kind of threw them in here. I was like, nobody's ever going to see it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. A belated happy Pie Day.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, missed opportunity. Didn't realize till it was too late. Didn't have any pie.
I will never have a pie day as good as that one pie day. When I went to that party.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And it was just all those pies.
And it was all the pies, and it took me like a year to figure out why.
I thought we were talking about Thanksgiving. I was like, that's a funny way to refer to Thanksgiving. That Thanksgiving you went to and you had all the pies.
We recorded on a pie day or the day after a pie day back when I was downstairs in Jay's office, and Shandy told us about how she went to this pie party.
Yeah.
Right?
It was like, we were visiting a friend in San Francisco. And he was like, hey, there's a party we could go to. And we're like, cool. And we went there, and there's like 2 long tables of pies on both sides, like savory pies and sweet pies, like shepherd's pie and like apple pie. It was just a whole
this rings bells.
smorgasbord of pies. And I was like, what a fun themed party. And it was a very fun party. We had a great time. And it took longer than it should have to realize that it was a Pie Day party, because this happened in March around, like the 14th. So
the last time we recorded on a Pie Day was March 14th, 2017. And I only know that because I have the calendar on my phone.
Oh, nice.
You were just scrolling back in time.
I was just scrolling while you were talking.
Yeah.
No, this is not that Pie Day. Although Crumble Cookie, it took me. So I look at the menu every Sunday night when it goes up, or Monday morning, and they did they always do like their menu changes every week, and they had the mystery cookie this week. And I'm clicking on all the ones in the area to see what the mystery cookie is at each location to see if I like it. And it's all pie. I'm like, why is there a pumpkin pie one, a key lime pie one, a coconut pie one? And that was on Monday, and it wasn't until 24 hours later where I understood. Oh, that was for Pie Day. That's good, Crumble Cookie. Anyway, yeah. I do. I mean, I have to say, like in all of our defense, I don't know, my defense at least, for my like really getting hit with pies and not figuring it out. I feel like this was not a thing when we were growing up. Correct? It's like a more recent thing, right? I don't know. I feel like everything's a thing nowadays, but also I was a kid then, so I don't know if they were right. Or not.
That's true.
I don't know what pie was.
It's kind of a big concept for a little person.
Ooh, I just hit the microphone.
But also, I feel like there wasn't the real slant on like STEM education, like when we were kids, like there is now.
Yeah.
So true. I feel like maybe kids now are aware of Pie Day.
Well, there was always nerdy people like me though that recognized. Like, I'm pretty sure I was calling March 14th Pie Day when I was in like 9th grade.
Well, you and numbers.
Aren't you just a very smart human?
Maybe I was older than that. I don't know. But
I did enjoy the memes that were going around that said Pie Day was a made up holiday invented to have so that kids would buy more or get into math. I can't remember how it was phrased, but
that's
a take on Valentine's Day. That was, I thought, hilarious.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
We explained to them what infinity was when we were talking about Pie Day at dinner on Tuesday.
Wow.
Nice.
I was like,
and how did that go over?
I think everything feels never ending when you're a kid. So
yes,
a concept that can really relate to.
Ending story.
All I can think about though is the scene from Stranger Things where they're reenacting that in season 3.
Yeah.
Still the best.
So good.
Happy St. Patrick's Day as this comes out. Happy birthday to Got and happy birthday to JP, whose birthday is March 19th.
That's right.
So many birthdays.
So many birthdays.
So many birthdays. Happy birthday to all.
Happy birthday.
Woo! Next week on March 21st, we will be live for the patrons. That is a guarantee. It's going to happen. I will send out the link. So if you are the Hangout level patron, stay tuned for that. We hope you can join us on March 21st. And then March 28th, we will be taking that week off. And then I guess before we get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, we should talk about Stand By Me and Now and Then. A couple of other things. The most important news of the week, Lindsay Lohan is pregnant.
What?
Yeah.
What?
For real.
What?
Wow.
This did not. The algorithm failed me. This came across none of my socials.
It was on my Instagram. I saw it.
Man, tell me everything.
That's all. That's it.
That's it.
It's real.
That's it.
Because remember, like about 10 years ago when she was in her like super crazy phase, she like said she was pregnant, but like obviously she was like really cracked out and definitely not pregnant.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, wow. And then it became like just kidding, guys, and wanted attention. Mm. But then like she followed it up like tweeting or something. She's like, no, it's for real this time, guys. So yeah, that's it. That's all we know. Unless something came out today, but I've been running around like crazy all day. So I missed it if so.
This is very exciting.
I know. I was like, oh my God, we need to have a Metrobuzz flashback with a Lindsay Lohan update.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of Metrobuzz, I had a lovely girls' weekend this weekend with some
your lady friends.
Yeah, and our mutual friend Allison brought up Metrobuzz. She's like, "Oh, remember that time I like was on the podcast with you and Colleen talking about like online dating, and that just feels like a lifetime ago." And
oh my God,
I believe it was a rooftop session. It might have
rooftop session.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like, those were some times.
The rooftop sessions were my favorites.
Yeah,
is Metrobuzz still findable?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I feel like I did try and find it once just out of curiosity. Mm-hmm. I'm also like not a good like internet sleuth. So I'm sure.
I know I have all the episodes on an old hard drive, but I don't think that hard drive is compatible with this computer anymore. I am
gotta check and make sure that hard drive hasn't failed.
Yeah, I am certain that John has all the episodes. But we used to do these rooftop sessions, and it was just us getting completely blasted on substances on our roof and having our friends over, and it was really, really fun. We got
John was there too,
and John was there over the on the Zoom on the Skype. It was Skype.
Oh, right.
So there was no video component back then.
No video component, and we
that's trashed. Like when we recorded the tribe. It was also just Skype.
Yeah,
no video.
But one time Amanda fell through the window, or did I fall through the window? Did we both fall through the window? Probably me. Yeah. We used to just drink wine on the.
That's how we learned that wine freezes.
Yeah.
We learned.
Well, wasn't there like a bottle that, and then there's glass? There's a glass story that I'm not a huge fan of. That sounds awful.
Yeah, it exploded.
It was okay.
It's like you can put the wine in the freezer to cool it down, but you have to remember you put it in there because if you leave it there too long, it freezes and then it blows up the glass.
And that's fine, but I just wasn't there glass that was ingested?
Yeah, I swallowed.
Yeah, because we decided we were didn't want to waste the wine because we were poor on things. So we were just like, oh great, wine slushy with a little bit of glass.
With a side of glass. Yeah.
Like split between the two of us. Now we were only paying $850 a month each.
I wish I could go back. It was like $650.
Was it $650?
Yeah.
I wish I could go back to that.
Yeah.
But then you would also have to go back to the wages that you made.
Also very
also true.
Yeah. I don't want that. I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
Although I think that's technically more than the wages I'm making right now, which are 0. Oh my God. I've got so many tabs and screens open that I just hit my text messages to open. And I was like, whoa, why is my sister's name popped up on the screen? I am in very tight quarters here. For all of you know, I know I mentioned I'm literally sitting on a lazy boy in my bedroom with a laptop desk that I'm pretty sure that we might have gotten in the apartment. It's very, very old, but I found it deep under the recesses of my bed because I was like, I think I still have that thing. I did. I got everything all set up between that and a little nightstand that I have next to me.
Nice.
It's a better setup than my my floor office.
That's true. Did you guys watch the Oscars? I didn't, but I watched the clips on Twitter.
We watched some of it. Ironically, because we don't have cable, we have a digital antenna, and ABC is the one major channel that does not come in well. So like it came in, I did a scan, it came in, it was like, great. We got through like 10 minutes and it started going like, like 18 rescans later, missed the first 3 categories. We signed up for Disney Plus thinking we could watch it there. Spoiler, you couldn't.
Oh, no.
Oh, well.
And finally we found a way. We found a way to watch it, but we missed a lot of the show.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But what we did watch, I enjoyed. Big thumbs up.
You know, it's funny you say that about AT&T, geez Louise, ABC, is when we first switched to the streaming through the Apple TV, ABC, their affiliate, blocked all streaming live. So we couldn't actually watch any of the award shows that were streaming on ABC.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They all suck.
I know.
Honestly, like cable companies are like, they're driving everyone to streaming. It's like the barrier to entry, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, I know we talk about how it's probably getting to be the point where it's probably cheaper to go back to cable. However, they're so infuriating that you're like, I guess I could pay a little bit of extra money, just not have to deal with them.
Right. They don't make their case well. Usually we love the digital antenna. Just ABC. Only one that doesn't work. They clearly broadcast from a different tower than everywhere else.
So I accidentally we have Paramount Plus, which we always have because of Survivor, and the kids are upset. They love SpongeBob, so like we always have Paramount Plus. And I knew that I needed to get back with Showtime to because it's Yellow Jackets. And when I went to watch Stand By Me, it was Showtime, and they were like, "Do you want to bundle it?" And then I accidentally signed up and paid for the year.
Oh, shit.
No!
Oh, shit.
I was like, I just wanted to do the month by month bundle. And then I did the math and I was like, fine. I guess I'm going to get enough out of this. But I had that sweetheart deal from Paramount Plus when it first came out. I was still paying that rate.
Oh, no.
Like the original like introduction, like sign up and get this rate. So Jay was like, why did you do that? I was like, $4 a month. And I was like, I don't know. I just clicked the thing. I thought they were going to be like, click OK. Like, I thought I was going to have to put my credit card information in. I just clicked because I wanted to see the price. I wanted to see what it was.
You just saved it online without your true, real consent.
Because it was like, click here to bundle. And I thought, okay, I'm going to click the button and it's going to take me to the screen and I'm going to see like,
and
okay.
Ask if you really want it.
Do you really want to do this? Put your information. And I thought I was going to do all that. Do you want to link up your accounts? And it didn't. It was just like, you now have it. Your next bill date will be March 29th, 2024. And I was like, wait, what?
$1,800.
Yeah, right. Thankfully, it was only $119 for the year for the both state channels, which I guess is still cheaper than cable, but still.
Yes. Well, yes, when you figure you're like paying that bundle.
It's like 1 month of cable.
Yeah, it's 1 month of cable.
Exactly.
So wait, okay. So hold for a tick.
So it
so let me
two.
So let me make sure I understand this correctly. If you have Paramount Plus, you don't necessarily have access to Showtime.
No, you have to add it.
See, that is very false advertising on their part because the way they brand the end of that trailer, it makes it seem like you can get Showtime as a sub stream within Paramount Plus, that it is not.
No, because I was excited when I saw that because I searched, when I saw it was streaming on Showtime, I went into the Paramount Plus app found it, and it was like had the little lock icon. And that's how this all unfolded. Although I guess the plus is that I now have the commercial-free version too of both.
That's nice.
So unless I'm watching live TV, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's okay, I guess. That's what we were trying to tell ourselves. We were like, well, I guess we don't have commercials, even though commercials don't bother us.
I enjoy commercials.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. But yeah, I was just like, okay, so I want to do a PSA. Unless you're sure you want to do the bundle, don't click on the bundle thing out of curiosity.
Oh man.
Yeah,
that's good to know though, because I thought, okay, that's good to know. I will just reinstate my Showtime account when it comes time.
Yes, and you can do the monthly option because it gives you monthly or yearly. I just again, I clicked out of curiosity because I wanted to see how much they were going to charge for the year. Like I just wanted to see. And I think it was something like click here to save 16%, and I think that's what it got me to click on because I wanted to see what that was all about. And then all of a sudden it was like
those bastards.
Yeah, really cha-ching. And I probably could have canceled it immediately and raised a fuss and be like, I did this by accident. But at that point I was just like, well, you know what?
And wasted hours of your life on the phone with them though. That's the thing.
They moved a lot of stuff over to Showtime that I believe were previously free on Paramount.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing though, because none of these streamers are actually making any money. So it's like they're keep upping the prices to try and break even.
Exactly. Anyway, yeah. So I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it goes.
All right.
But it's $10.99 a month for Showtime if you don't do the free trial. Like if you after it's over. And I believe it's $11.99 a month for the bundle. So
yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so now we're coming to you from Venue Change from the future. What you guys missed off screen is Alex fell out of the bed, scared himself, hacked up phlegm, got a bloody nose, inhaled the blood, and threw up twice.
Oh, buddy.
That's pretty bad. I'd be pretty traumatized too.
Buddy. Now I am sitting in my absolute least favorite place to record, my cavernous living room, dining room, which is a wonderful space to sit in, terrible space to record in. So I apologize to everybody out there. Please bear with me. I am very sorry, but sometimes you just have to mom.
Yep.
Or
mom comes first.
So I do apologize.
Yep,
please don't turn it off. We have a great rest of the show. Before all this went down, I was about to ask you guys if you wanted to talk about Everything Everywhere All at Once next month instead of Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, yes. Sure. Yes, I still haven't seen it.
Oh my God, I saw it in the theater. It was my favorite movie going experience that I have had in a very long time. I loved it. And it's all the best when you don't really quite know what you're walking into. It's just, it's
right?
Perfect. I love it.
Thank you. This microphone is backwards. Interesting. I was like, why is this so weird? Okay, there we go. I'm like, I don't usually look at those buttons. Where did they come from? Okay, so on April 18th, we're going to talk about Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Awesome.
And then following that, we will talk about Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, and Ned.
Yes.
I have to get the book.
We must talk about the movie. I swear I had a really good joke about that at some point, but I can't remember it now. All right, cool. Good times. What a night. Always something. Okay. Now that we have all that out of the way, do you guys want to talk about the movies that we're here to talk about?
Let's do it.
I think we probably should.
I think we probably should. Stand By Me and Now and Then. What do you want to talk about first?
Maybe chronologically, Stand By Me, because it's from 1986.
Well, but it takes place
in the 50s.
And it takes place a million years ago, yes.
Yeah, let's talk about Stand By Me then. The coming of age story involving a dead body.
Right. And I mean, I think I've seen Stand By Me before, but I didn't remember. Maybe I haven't. Like, honestly, maybe I haven't. I really don't know. Yeah. Corey Feldman truly was in every 80s movie.
Just about,
that was like Oh, okay. You again.
And
And
Kiefer
Kiefer
Sutherland.
Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland and John Cusack.
And John Cusack. Yes.
And with Richard Dreyfuss.
And Richard Dreyfuss was a dad.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, just
Oh
like
shit. Before he had an opus.
before he had an opus.
Yeah.
Had already wrestled a shark, but before the opus. Post shark, pre opus.
Oh man.
Across the board, like I'd forgotten all the cameos in both movies, so like that was a real delight to see all the like side characters in just general note.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. It takes place in Castle Rock, Oregon.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't Castle Rock? Wasn't that later the TV show that came out? Like,
oh,
I knew.
Oh no, that was Maine. That was Maine.
Well, but also like Stand By Me, I didn't realize was based off of a book by Stephen King, so it's surprising it doesn't take place in Maine.
Oh. Huh.
Well, I'm looking up that because I watched the first season of that Castle Rock. It wasn't very good, but we really wanted to like it, so we kept going. Where does that is Maine, Castle Rock, Maine? But yeah, both are based off of Stephen King books. So
yeah, I was just, and this is why I was like, maybe I haven't seen this because the whole time I was like, have you children not seen Fried Green Tomatoes? Do not walk on fucking train
movie.
Yeah.
I've never seen Fried Green Tomatoes.
Oh my gosh.
We should
that's
do
another
that
one. How have we been friends so long and we haven't seen that movie?
I don't know.
Let's put it on the docket. It's also I think it's very theme appropriate for the broadcast.
I don't know. I still want to do my cousin. I still want to do My Cousin Vinny and the First Wives Club.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like Fried Green Tomatoes and My Cousin Vinny would actually probably be a better pairing.
Ooh, okay. I trust you on that.
I feel like if I mention the connection that gives stuff away.
Okay.
So maybe if for anyone who has seen both movies, holler at us in the comments if you agree that would be a good pairing.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Which we're booked up through July, so yeah, let us know those soon.
A Q4 thing.
Yeah. Or early Q3.
Early Q3.
Yeah.
At the very earliest.
At the very earliest. Okay, cool. Well, let us know, everybody. But yeah, okay, so Stand By Me.
Don't walk on train tracks.
Don't walk on train tracks.
Yeah. Also, did the kid actors have to actually smoke? Like, how did they? I mean, it was the 80s, but like these kids are young.
I don't know. I mean, they
it
all
really did look like they were smoking.
Yeah. With the exception, actually, two of them, I think, came out okay. Two of them ended up pretty messed up.
50%.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yes,
River Phoenix.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
A real talent left us too young.
I know. Seriously, such a great actor. Even like as a kid, like you could just tell.
Also across the board, just the child actors in both movies. Like so freaking good. All of them.
I know. I cannot wait to gush on Now and Then. That was I thought that I had peaked with our viewing experience with nostalgia when we did 10 Things. It was even greater.
Now and Then it's one of my all-time.
It's solidified as one of my all-time favorites. Oh, yeah. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Stand By Me.
Yes, maybe at the end we can talk about. I keep jumping the gun because I just love that we paired these two movies together and like watching them both back to back was like I love that we paired these two movies together.
I know. Yeah, don't walk on train tracks. That train dodging scene, Jesus.
Ugh.
I mean, I knew he was gonna pull him off, but I was still get nervous. I'm like, oh my god, why?
This is not a good idea. Don't walk on train tracks.
Just don't.
I feel like that was really like put into my head as a child, and I think somebody should have put that into their head.
Well, I mean, they're clearly just dumb kids. Like, I feel like if we are, remember during that time period, don't walk on train tracks. Like clearly that was a thing back then. And that's why those kids were the bad kids walking on the train tracks.
Walking on the train tracks.
The daring kids.
Yeah. But also like, if you think about it, like historically, like we're not, so this movie takes place in the 50s. So we're not that far. So we're what, like 30 years removed from, the Great Depression and like
Yeah.
you know, people
that's
riding the
wild to think
trail,
about.
right?
Yeah.
But like if you think about it that way, and like, you know, how like hobos would jump the tracks and that kind of stuff. So I feel like just like as a society and culturally, I feel like life still revolved around like train tracks as like
the wrong side of the tracks.
Yeah, as like a means to get somewhere.
Well, and I can understand following the train tracks,
but walking directly on them.
Don't walk in the train. Yeah.
Honestly, I wish we had that.
Wish we would have gone in that direction a little bit more.
Yeah.
Made a few more tracks. Yeah.
I love that they forgot to bring food.
Yeah.
I was like,
I feel like that's a very like 12-year-old boy thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No one's thinking about, or like the scene where they're like just like the random talking about like things around the fire. It's like, so like what if I could only eat one food for the rest of my life? Easy answer. Pez. No doubt. Pez. It's like a 12-year-old boy response. Pez isn't a food.
Right. It's just sugar.
It's not even candy. It's not even good candy.
No, it's not. It's gross.
It's an abomination.
I wonder if the part with the leeches is realistic, and I definitely feel like it's one of those things in the 80s that also was sort of drilled into us with the fear of like sinking, like quicksand and the leeches, and them like being in there for 2 seconds and being covered with leeches everywhere, including on their peens, was just like the stuff of like what we were kind of, I don't know. It was just the atmosphere in the 80s, I feel like. And I don't know if that would be realistic or not.
Isn't there another movie that has leeches?
There's probably 10 other movies in the 80s that have.
That's the one that really ever comes to mind for me. Like that.
I know what I'm thinking of.
So iconic.
I know what I'm thinking of. In The Lost City, which is the Channing Tatum, Sandra Bullock rom-com that came out last year, there's a scene where he gets leeches.
It's probably a nod to this movie.
It's probably a nod to this movie. Yeah. I'm glad that I figured that out so quickly, though.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Good recall.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I just watched it a year ago.
I mean, I can't remember the Frenchman joke from a movie I watched literally 3 days ago. So.
And I took notes.
That's the movie in which Daniel Radcliffe plays the bad guy.
Oh, interesting.
Well, that's very funny. The idea of Daniel Radcliffe as a bad guy is just hilarious.
He's
to me.
Spectacular. He basically plays kind of like a rich media mogul kind of person.
I love his post Harry Potter career.
Yeah,
he just takes all the risks, and I love all the risks.
Yeah. He's like, I'm rich. Nobody's going to turn me down for a job, even if my movie bombs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love that kid.
Small tangent, but the Daniels for Everywhere.
Yes, Everything Everywhere at Once.
Thank you. It's a very difficult title. Their other big movie had Daniel Radcliffe in it as a dead farting corpse.
No way. What was their other movie?
Swiss Army Man.
Oh, I never saw that.
Yeah, that was Sundance 4 years ago.
I did not know that.
A farting corpse. Him and Paul Dano, I think, was the living guy. It's kind of like a Wilson Castaway thing. It's a very weird movie. Very weird.
I would believe you there.
Yeah, I know. Shocker. That's weird, huh? Whatever do you mean? It sounds so normal and quaint.
That's how they get you.
Yeah. Anyway, Stand By Me. Great film.
Okay. Stand By Me. Yeah. Great film.
I actually have a note in here. I think I must have said at the end that it was, as you're saying, based on a book by Stephen King, a novella by Stephen King, which I guess I could see because I could see how this would be a very short read. Also, The Older Boys. My note is, the older boys are my personal nightmare of human beings.
Go on.
They're just awful. They're just fucking bullies, and I do not like them.
Yeah. Does Kiefer Sutherland like ever play the good guy? I feel like with a voice like that, like he's just typecast as like the bad guy all the time.
Well, isn't he the good guy in 48? 24?
24.
What is it called?
And Designated Survivor.
Okay.
Okay.
But just as
I think
he still had that like just gravelly deep voice, and it's just like, yeah, how could you cast him as like the good guy?
completely. No, I think teenage Kiefer was always the bad kid. Grown up Kiefer is now, either a pirate or. Thank you, Shandy, for laughing at that. Please tell me you got that and it wasn't a pity laugh.
It wasn't a pity laugh, but
I didn't get it.
I'm not entirely sure I got it. I was just picturing his voice being a perfect pirate voice.
I know. I was just like, yeah, that tracks. Yeah, I could see him as a pirate.
And I like
when he tackles the Christmas tree, my favorite YouTube video of all time. When he goes, "I'm a pirate, man."
Oh yeah. God, I forgot all about that. Oh man, that was good.
I watch that every Christmas because I love it so much.
Oh man, someone recirculated that video. Apparently that video is 5 years old, of like the guy that was doing like a Zoom interview, and like his kids
6 years old, and his kids walk in. Oh my god!
Walk in, and then the poor mom comes like diving into because clearly she was just like trying to have a moment on like going to the bathroom
or something, and the kids just saunter in. Oh, I love that. I think I rewatched because I saw that circulating too. I think I rewatched it like 7 times this week, and it's perfect.
Yeah,
It's just
it is
the perfect comedic timing, and they're not even trying to be funny.
Yeah,
the baby just saunters in.
And like I don't know if it's like more funny for me now because I am a parent, and like before I wasn't one, and I was just like, oh, that's a funny thing on the internet. Now I'm just like, oh, we now work from home. I have a kid. Like, oh, I get it on like so many different levels now. Like, oh my god, just cry.
Those
laughing.
kids are like grown up now because
I'm sure they're probably going to college now. And I'm sure
he posted a tweet in response and said, here we are 6 years later. Thanks for liking our video or something like that. Jeez Louise. Okay, so Stand By Me. The whole premise of the movie is the kids over here. The bad kid, big brother, and his friends found a dead body of a missing child that's their age, and kid got hit by a train. Don't
walk on the fucking train tracks.
Don't walk on the tracks. But the kid gets hit by the train. They want to find him and get kind of like the glory for finding him.
Strange concept.
I know. Yeah. Will Wheaton's character has a side plot where his brother John Cusack passed away in a Jeep accident as a senior in high school or whatever. And he's dealing with that. His parents being depressed over that, him feeling like inadequate that he survived, survivor's guilt. And he has this whole additional reason for wanting to see the dead body. But essentially they, trek out 20 miles over 2 days to find the kid's body where the brother they'd overheard the brother describe where they had seen it. And it's just 2 days of watching them bond and eat Fun Dip for meals.
Right.
Just the unparented generation.
The latchkey kids.
The Gen X man.
Yeah. Well, these would have been boomers. They're technically Stand By Me. They're technically
Stand By Me. They would have been boomers. You're right, because it was 59.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But this is a similar theme with Now and Then too, where it's just like in nowadays, like you would not let your kid couldn't disappear for 2 days.
Yeah, you couldn't just like 13 miles to a library and
I guess Gordy didn't come home for dinner. Okay, I guess we're do you want to have some leftovers? Okay, great.
Yeah. I cannot even imagine. That would anyway, so it's the bonds that they make, their little coming of age story and how much they grow up and their life is changed by the end of this trip versus when they set out from the trip. That is a summary I should have done when we first started talking about this before we went into it. But
nonlinear storytelling,
it's been a very nonlinear evening.
Yeah, it's great.
So all the characters are, you kind of have an affinity for each one of them. You have Corey Feldman's character. All the names are escaping me right now. I don't know why. Whose father is in a mental institution.
That's and Teddy, right?
Teddy Duchamp.
Yeah.
Yes. Who's, very prideful, but definitely.
He's a typical Corey Feldman character.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's Mouth from Goonies. It's just, he plays the same character throughout the 80s.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he plays it well.
And Goonies was a part of our inaugural monthly episode.
Goonies never say die.
Never say die. You have Jerry O'Connell's character, who is the, chubby younger brother character of the bad boy. Yeah.
Who I was like, he's not chubby.
He's not chubby, but he's supposed to be that character, so that's why.
Right.
Such a trope.
Yep.
I know. And then the last character is Will Wheaton's character, who, like I said before, lost his older brother and is trying to come to terms with that. And
River Phoenix.
Oh, River Phoenix, Lordy, Chris. That's his
Chris. Yeah, and Gordy is Will Wheaton's character.
Yes,
or Jordy or Gordy.
Gordy.
And then River Phoenix's character is Chris, who just really wants to get out of there. Who has a very tragic ending at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I was like, was that really necessary? Seriously. Did they just not want to give us a happy ending? That's what she said. I don't know.
But then it's like, I feel like that's where like the Stephen King comes in.
Maybe.
Yeah, like this is not the Sandlot. Like it's not,
Right. But it's just like thrown in at the end, like, oh, okay.
But it is kind of like a happy story with like a sad chaser. So like he did get out. He like becomes a doctor. Like he does the thing that he sought to do for himself.
Yeah.
But yes, like, he dies tragically, like doing something heroic.
Yeah. I did. I had a note: sexist, fatphobic, homophobic. That's maybe just like everything in the 80s.
Right.
Everything in the 80s.
Just an 80s movie about young boys.
Right. And I did enjoy the like boys' friendships, although I have another note that boys' friendships are weird, at least in this movie. And also
having two boys, I think that this is more accurate than we would like to believe.
Well, in that case, boys' friendships are weird. And he does say at the end, and I know this is like, a coming of age story, and I appreciate that.
If you're going to say the last quote, can we talk about the very end of the discussion about this?
I'm not sure.
Okay, go.
I don't remember what the last quote was. I'm not sure if what I wrote down was the last quote or not.
Well, it would have been the very last thing at the end of the movie before we go to the credits.
Right, but then I don't remember if I just know that I wrote it down. I don't know.
Okay. Go ahead.
Let's go.
We're going to roll with it.
Yeah.
Well, shit, now I'm kind of nervous.
No, go. Do it.
Because he says he never had friends again like the ones he had at 12. Okay. And I was just like, how fucking sad.
Oh, see, I love that. I had forgotten that that's what movie this was from.
Yeah. So here's the quote. Because I wrote this down too, because I wanted to bring this in because I thought that no, please don't be sorry. I thought that this was actually a great tie-in with Now and Then and how both movies talk about how at the end of this coming of age story, like these events changed their lives, and then they kind of gradually grew apart, even though they still had this bond. And I thought that this was a perfect quote, like to sum up kind of the theme of childhood friendships. I've never had any friends later on like the ones I had when I was 12. Jesus, does anyone?
Yes, yes, I did. I don't know.
I don't know. I've always loved that quote, and it's like when it came up on screen, I was like, right, that's what this is. That's what it's from. It's from this.
See, I would argue that you two are my better friends than anybody that I had as friends when I was 12, truly. But I always just took the quote to mean like that childhood innocence. You never had any friends like that childhood innocence. Then, once that changed, your view on friendships changed. So the people you hang out with change. You become more formed based on your experiences. And this was the first real experience of their life, just like the summer of Dear Johnny was the first real experience of the Now and Then girls' lives, where like, those your friendships are never going to be as innocent and pure as they were before you had these experiences that changed you.
Well, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here, but maybe that's where I'm like, I agree that those childhood friendships are super important, and you feel everything so deeply and so intensely when you're little. But looking at,
you're still here.
I was like, wait, did I drop out of the video?
I'm playing with the things like Jay was teaching us to do when you were gone.
But again, not to get too much ahead of ourselves, but it's like, okay, is it partially because in Stand By Me, they're boys who were socialized as boys, and after they have these intense friendships, then they grow up to become, men who are socialized to think that like to not value friendship in the same way and to like start thinking of things in terms of like friends, like that kind of thing, versus now and then where as adults they come back together because women are socialized to actually value friendships more. Really? I think for me that's part of why my note was how sad, because it's like it's all that. It's like,
see, I always just like the type of, no baggage, feel free to make dick jokes with each other.
Yeah,
which I do think was hilarious. Yeah,
it's just like a profoundly. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, finish.
No, you go. You're talking about the actual thing. I was doing an aside.
Yeah, well, I think it's just like because it's just it's a profoundly different experience. Like I have always taken that, just the concept of that. Like also, I just think it's a lovely piece of writing to begin with. Like I think it like evokes the right tone that you want to end this story on. Like I think, in terms of like landing the plane, like in terms of the story, I feel like that it works well, like an artistic level, like whatever. But from like a personal level, it's like, I don't necessarily think it means that like those friendships are any more like deep and important than like an adult friendship. They're just different. They're just like this moment in time that, it happens and it's gone. It's like, it's a nostalgia. It's, it's a whole bunch of like untangible things. And I think it doesn't necessarily, and yes, you could argue that, yes, it places a thumb on the scale of like, Jesus does anyone makes it feel like somehow these 12-year-old friendships are better. I just think it's hearkening on this pivotal point in your life that like it happens, it's gone, and you're never the same. Like it's sort of like you're on your way to becoming who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like personally, like I've had that several times in my life, like my with my high school friends, with my college friends, with my grad school friends. So yeah.
Arguably the line would work. The line would work again and again. And maybe that's also what's so kind of cool about it, is that like you could use that same line to end a story about like friendships of like any point in your life. And like it would still sort of work. But I don't think it would work as well as it is an adult looking back on their childhood.
Yeah, I agree. There's that. Yeah, no, I agree. I couldn't have said it better.
I understand this. I understand what they're going for.
Yeah.
I still think it's sad.
I think Amanda said
it's more an emotional. Yeah. It lives in an emotional space as opposed to like a literal space, I think.
Yes. But it's okay if we all have different opinions on how to look at it.
Oh, and sort of to that line, the other piece of writing that I had wrote down like towards the beginning, where it was like a long time ago, only if you measure it in years. I sort of loved that concept of looking at time and again, sort of feeding into that nostalgia of like, you're only a kid once, like you're only like, at the precipice of the rest of your life once. And, how we romanticize that time in our life, particularly those summers of like that era of your life.
Well, summers were like totally bomb as kids.
Right. And
because
like both
they were so fucking long. Right. And then somehow you would arrive at the end of it like super quickly and be like, fuck, how am I going back to school so quickly after like 3.5 fucking months? What the hell? Yeah. Of riding your bike around and not like being unsupervised. Because we were still, I don't know about you guys, but like I was still had like so much unsupervised time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Same.
It's great.
But I think that's also like telling that like both of these stories take place during a summer. Like there is just something romantic about summer in that era of your life where you're like sort of the waning years of childhood. Like you're not a teenager yet, but you're like also not really like a little kid yet. You're like in the sort of girl. Right.
Not yet a woman. All I need is time. Okay, sorry.
But it's literally, and it's like it's almost like just that summer for like when you're 12 years old. Right? It's just like this magic like twilight.
The summer before boobs and periods.
Yeah.
For most of us.
No, yeah.
But But like for boys too. I mean, I think it is also not. I think it's also significant that both the male version of the story and Stand By Me and the female story, they were all 12.
Yeah, you're right. There is something about, you know why? Because it's that middle school into high school year, right?
No.
What if 12 more like 6th grade?
Is
Yeah.
12
7th grade, maybe? Yeah.
Well,
11
I
and
think
12
for
is
some,
6th
but some
grade, 12 and
people like
13.
but for some people, elementary school goes up to 6th grade. So then like going into 7th, you're going to junior high. Like, but I think it's like that, like 12 is your last year before you're like officially a teenager.
Yeah.
So like, but you're also definitely really not a kid anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're in just this like,
man, my nephew's 12.
this lingo.
Shit.
Like it's this lingo, this, this like sort of purgatory of.
What grade your nephew in? We could have solved this whole thing.
Right.
6th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
So he needs to buckle in for this summer.
We turned 10 in 5th grade. So we turned 11 in 6th grade, 12 in 7th grade.
No, we turned 10 in 4th grade.
So then we were 11 in...
We turned 11 in 5th grade. We turned 12 in 6th grade.
6th grade? Okay.
And then we were 12 and turned 13 in 7th grade. And then turned 14 in 8th grade.
Oh, that's right. I have a 3rd grader who
then,
turns 9 this year and then turns 10 next year in 4th grade. Whew.
Yeah.
Gosh, what a night. Math is hard tonight. Nothing is linear tonight.
Not even aging.
No.
Yeah. Especially if you don't count it in years.
I do have to say, I found it really funny that in Now and Then they were doing boob jokes, and in this movie they were doing dick jokes, which just goes to show you that you're immature in all decades, all eras, all ages.
Yep. And society tells you very young what your body should look like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I love this scene where they're sitting around the fire asking themselves, like pondering these like questions that are like so
before they
deep
discovered
for 12-year-olds.
girls.
Yeah. But the age-old question of what's Goofy? I mean, he's a dog, but we've definitely discussed that in my household too. This is an actual conversation we've 100% had in the Gladfelder household.
But what else would he be?
That's the thing is I think it's like, he doesn't really look like a dog. He doesn't act like a dog.
Yeah. But like, he's not like a bear.
Yeah, he acts like a dog, I guess.
Pluto acts like a dog.
Well, because Pluto is a dog. He's a pet.
I know, but Goofy is also a dog, and Goofy's not a pet.
I know. It's like a flaw in the system.
Exactly.
It's a glitch in the matrix.
That's why it's such a question, is why is Goofy, whose name is Goofy, implying that he is, silly, why is he a more evolved dog than Pluto? Like, why can Goofy talk as a dog and Pluto not talk as a dog?
Huh.
I don't know.
See? Still.
Yeah. I mean, and he's like full on dressed from head to toe in human clothes.
But then also, like, why does Donald Duck only wear a shirt and no pants?
Because he's a pervert.
Apparently. It's true. Out of all of the like characters, he's really the only one that's pantsless. Although I suppose
Winnie the Pooh, though.
Yeah, that's but he's he's a bear. He's based off of a stuffed animal. So
anytime the kids are walking around without underwear, like just with only a shirt on, Jay will be like, "You're Pooh bearing it again." Yep. Okay, so I typed in what animal is Goofy, and according to the Disney Wikipedia, according to Wikipedia, he's a tall anthropomorphic dog. However, if you go down to a USA Today article from August 1st, 2022, Bill Farmer, Goofy's voice actor since 1987, told Yahoo News that Goofy is not a dog.
What? Is that the same voice actor since the 80s?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, as of August 2022, I don't know. All bets are off in 2023. He's not a dog. Okay, because I guess the argument was he a dog or a cow? And
a cow? He's definitely not a cow. Look at the ears.
I mean, he doesn't look anything like a cow to me, or a bull. However, I guess he's just Goofy. That's what the voice actor said. Quote, he's just Goofy.
Okay. So he's a goofy species of one.
So Goofy's just Goofy, but he's a dog. But he's not a dog. He's just Goofy. All right, there we go. See, they didn't have the internet. They couldn't just pull out their iPhones and Google it.
Right.
All right. Is there anything else we want to talk about Stand By Me and the fact that love the song? The soundtrack of both movies is great.
That was what I was going to say. Awesome soundtrack. Yes. Love the song.
I've listened to Stand By Me on Alexa like a whole bunch of times over the last 2 days. It's so good.
I sang that as a duet in the middle school talent show when I was about the age of these young boys.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
I love that. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to Now and Then, which I could talk about time and time again. I feel like we're going to get to the same thing whenever we end up watching My Cousin Vinny, which I could talk about also for hours and hours and hours. I love this movie so much. I love it so much. The actors.
I'm just glad it held up. I was so afraid that it was there were going to be cringy moments that was going to make me feel really regretful. And
there's not.
It was
pretty good. It was pretty good. Yeah.
So some of my favorite parts are actually some of my favorite parts really just come from the times when they're grown-ups. I didn't realize how much I quote now in real life or think in my head things that come from this movie. When Bonnie Hunt, the mom, is being like, do you know, what's sex? And she's like, it's like somebody going, boo, that's what sex is. I always think of that in my head.
Just a way to mess somebody up.
Right. And then as a result of this conversation, she'd have a lifelong obsession with gardening.
I fear she was misinformed.
Which then ties into the what's an erection scene later. We'll get to that. Also, I can't tell you how many times I've said I've thought to myself, long legs, a tiny waist, and perky breasts, which is what Rosie O'Donnell says. Okay.
I do have to say the fact that Christina Ricci turns into Rosie O'Donnell is the one thing in this movie that I cannot believe.
I know. I can't either, but I also kind of like it. I like that sometimes people grow up and they grow up very differently than you. Yeah. I like that.
It doesn't help that we actually know what adult Christina Ricci looks like now.
Yeah. And also it doesn't help that we know what Rosie O'Donnell is like now.
Yes. Yes. Also that. But that was always the thing where I was like, really?
Yeah. Okay. So let me not do this 20 minutes into the conversation this time. So Now and Then, if you're just joining us, which I don't know why you would skip ahead to this very moment, coming of age story for the ladies out there.
You do you.
Coming of age story with 4 girls who go through a very summer where they're forced to kind of grow up. They go through things, family issues, boy issues, and it revolves around trying to solve the mystery of how a little boy died. And
again with the death, but I feel like that's very typical for these sort of coming of age, because you're coming. I kind of wonder. You're learning that death exists.
Just the amount of similar themes from the two movies. It's just I just really truly love that we paired them together. It was and they became all the more apparent how similar these movies were, and in ways my brain had never connected.
So this takes place in the summer of 1970. There's just so much, and I wonder how much of this actually was inspired by Stand By Me. Truly, because. It is that Breakfast Club. I mean, there's certain templates of things for movies, but this movie just does it all so well. Mm-hmm. Chrissy, breast is not a dirty word. And that whole thing cracked me up. Breast. So much fun. So is I could ask this later, but I'm thinking of it now. Is Rosie O'Donnell's character supposed to be a doctor, or does she just randomly put on scrubs?
No, they say she's a doctor.
Okay.
Yeah. They say she is a doctor.
Yes. I didn't remember that from previous viewings, but I definitely noticed that this time around.
I forgot that she was, because they just say she's a doctor. They don't say that she's an OBGYN. They just say she's a doctor.
I kind of love that tomboy Christina Ricci. What's her character's name? Oh, shoot.
Roberta.
Roberta, thank you.
Yes.
Tomboy Roberta grew up to be a lady doctor, like, OBGYN.
Yeah.
And I kind of actually do.
Oh, that's really cool.
The little girl that was ashamed of her breasts that she taped them down ended up taking care of gynecological needs. And I think that is actually kind of great.
It's so funny because I don't know what I thought every single other time that I watched this, but it just seemed random that all of a sudden she's the one like helping her give birth. But it's like, oh yeah, because she
until
I had forgotten that that's exactly like
in Scrubs, like,
and I'm
duh.
Like,
and they mentioned that she's a doctor at the beginning, like,
yeah, I totally missed that. But I was just like, damn, this movie is so ridiculous that it's so great, but then it ends so ridiculous in which she's wearing scrubs and delivering a baby and the husband's not even there, but he was there in the previous scene. But now he's like, providing dental work.
Very long line at the store. Oh, right. He was like he was stuck in a root canal or something.
Right.
Which,
which like, I feel like nowadays, if like your wife was expecting and you're like some kind of doctor, like you would not be like scheduling those kind of procedures like that close to your wife's due date.
Also, a root canal doesn't take hours. It's like a 2-hour thing tops, isn't it?
But I feel like root canal has so along with like leeches and quicksand.
Yes.
I feel like root canal is always this thing that people like throw around, like, like.
That's true.
The worst thing in the world. And I
have no idea how long a root canal takes. Couldn't tell you.
Wow. I've had one, and as previously discussed, I can't exactly remember.
It an hour and a half
ago.
Several vomit incidents later.
Literally.
Yeah, it's not like a half-day procedure by any means.
Oh my God.
That I remember.
Okay.
Thora Birch as Teenie.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, so great.
She's like,
this would have been Hocus Pocus came out in 1993, so this is just after.
This is after, yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Love her. She's great. She's perfect.
And then
that era, like that was Monkey Business. Do you remember that movie?
Mm-mm.
It was her, and she was like, I think it was a single dad, or like she goes to live with her dad. I think it's in San Francisco. Somehow she like comes to have this like little cute monkey. It was like a boardwalk, like trained monkey, and she like rescues it. And I just remember as a kid, I was just so envious of her outfit and the monkey. I don't remember what jokes about,
the monkey.
But I was all about Thora Birch at this stage of my life.
I feel like this is about the same time that Ross probably had a monkey on Friends. So there was just like some monkeyness going around, which nowadays it's like, maybe let's not have wild animals as pets.
Yeah. Super problematic. But man, as like an 11-year-old, I was like,
totally.
Oh my God, that's so cool. And her backward hat and her backpack and her monkey. This is great. Anyway, now and then.
Oh my God. Okay.
Did you guys notice that they lived in the Gaslight Edition?
Yes, they did.
And that word has maybe taken on more meaning since 1995.
Because gaslight wasn't a word in the...
Not the same way, yeah.
Not in the same way. I mean, the term existed, but it wasn't...
Yeah. So I was just like, that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that too. I also loved that she had plastic couches on her covers.
Oh my God. Yes.
Still plastic covers on her couches.
Gotta protect it.
Gotta protect it.
Like, what is even the point of having a couch then if you can't sit comfortably on it? Because sitting on plastic is not comfortable.
I remember those though. My grandparents had those.
The seated room, and like the living room. Like you had your family room and the formal living room where no one actually did any living in.
Right, but it just looks terrible.
Yeah, it looks real bad. It's not cute. It's uninviting.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I totally derailed from actually talking about the movie, but like I just could not let that go.
Yeah.
Okay. So I love that each of the girl characters represented like a different personality. Like we had the tomboy, we had the diva that wanted to be like a movie star. Like everybody represented a trope. We had poor what was her name? Gabby Hoffman's character. Why am I blanking so much? I love this movie so much. Sam. whose parents, stereotypical, like, you know, troubled kid whose parents were going through a divorce, that was a goody goody, but like, you know, was trying to deal with like being the responsible one in her family. And Rita Wilson. Shit, I am doing so
Chrissy.
bad right now. Chrissy, thank you. I'm looking at the name on the screen. I mean, Chrissy, who was like, you know, your innocent little, like, kind of goody goody in a way. But I love that. And were there any parts now when you were watching the movie that you were taken back to being a little kid and got excited about? Because I'll go first. Okay, the Devin sour penis scene. I remember watching that as a little girl and being like, oh my God, with my friends.
Or like in trying to freeze the screen to see if you could actually see anything.
Did I try to do that as a 39-year-old? Yes, I still tried to do that. I swear to God.
Yeah, you super can't. You super can't.
I think they edited it out though.
Oh, they had to have because it's PG-13. So it's like, right?
I swear to God that we saw flopping when we were younger.
Really?
I swear.
You must have imagined it.
I don't know. Does anybody out there, Maggie? Okay, you're our age. Do you guys remember that? Because I swear to God, we saw flopping when we were growing up, and we paused it in like sleepovers. And I tried, and I felt dirty.
It's small. What does she say? That's so funny.
Oh my God! Yeah. I thought it'd be bigger. And like, I felt kind of bad because, like, you know, poor Chrissy, like they kept obviously like snickering at her and making fun of her. But like, you know, we've all also been either there where we're like, yes, we get this, and we're going to like laugh about somebody else not getting it, or been the person that didn't get it. That's like, come on, guys, just tell me.
Yeah.
I've been both.
Right. And I think that was like the thing that kind of the only thing on the rewatch that really struck me differently now. And particularly also because you see it in both movies. It's like, why in the group of four, there's always that like chubby kid that gets kind of picked on. Right. Like you're in the friend
she's
group.
She's also
but, like,
not chubby, which was just like
neither one of them were.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, the sort of like fat phobic, just that was the only thing that made me kind of sad. It was just like, oh,
the scene where they're like, I pick Chrissy because she'd be more people.
Well, but in general, it was throughout the movie. Like, that's like the
like
most clear example. But it was like always like she's the friend that like they're a group of four, but like it's really like a group of three, and like the fourth friend that they kind of let hang around, and they love her in spite of like, you know, like they just still kind of pick on her the whole movie. And I'm just,
I don't know. I feel like when she's the only one that would give Roberta mouth to mouth, I feel like she definitely
right.
And she even says to Roberta, I think they have a closer relationship than I think I realized watching it
especially
before.
Especially because they end up together in the end.
Exactly.
Too.
Yeah. But you see it as kids too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love how Samantha and Teeny kind of also have like a closer relationship than you know, they have like their own thing going on too.
Right. Which is why
also you
groups of four work well.
Yeah.
You know, there's a balance to it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I never like thought that they picked on Chrissy because they thought she was like chubby or anything. I just thought that it was because she was very clearly always like the one that was like, guys, don't say bad words. Guys, don't do this. And
let me reiterate, like they don't pick on her because she is chubby. I think just part of like the casting and like trope of like that friend that we pick on also happens to usually have some sort of, you know, like physical thing to them too. And like in that point in society, like it's usually their weight.
Gotcha. No, I agree. So Gabby Hoffman, I think I've said this before, but like in that movie, she looks so much like my sister Caitlin. And even when I was watching it now, I was like, damn, I was right back then, like 30 years ago watching this movie. She really does look, in certain scenes, she looks just like my sister when she was growing up. Wow. Okay. I only have one thing that I take umbrage with this movie, technically, is Roberta never leaves the house with the picture in her pocket, but she jumps into the water in her clothes. So does the picture of her mom get ruined? I've always wondered this.
Oh,
I forgot about that.
Or does she like take it out because she disappears for a second?
I think you have touched upon perhaps a flaw in the story.
Yeah.
I've always wondered this.
Yeah,
for
I think you have
25
touched
years.
upon something, a little bit of a continuity issue.
Okay, fantastic. I feel vindicated now.
Yeah.
Although, you know, she's kind of like our what's his name? Will Wheaton character, where she's the one that has to come to terms with death out of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And
which is like another thing. Like there's so much like cross-pollination with these movies.
So much. But like, I mean, it's a very kid growing up thing to have to come to. Like there's nothing that makes you come to terms with growing up faster than having to accept death. And honestly, because that makes you accept your mortality. And that is the thing that like really forces some people to kind of, you know, it takes away like the kids think they're invincible. And like, once you realize that you're not invincible, you're kind of crossed a threshold that you can't get back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I forgot, how much the Dear Johnny storyline was the whole catalyst for the whole summer.
Yes, me too. Me too.
Like I knew it was a plot, but I didn't realize it was like the plot.
Whole plot. Yeah.
I had actually forgotten it was a plot at all.
Yeah. And I have to say, Crazy Pete, I was like, this feels very Home Alone-esque.
I wrote that down too. I was like, wow, the old creepy dude.
Yeah, who turns out to be
that was a real 90s kids movie thing.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I would add to like, don't walk on train tracks. Don't go into storm.
Okay, I want to talk about that. Okay. As a person who's been in a lot of storm drains.
Seriously? From geocaching?
Yeah, that's when we go in the sewers.
But only
so casually, like, yeah, duh, Shandy.
But
where you go geocaching?
But only from geocaching, correct? This was not like a pastime as a child.
Yes, no, only from geocaching.
Okay. I feel better about that.
We all like diligently check the weather. If there's any hint of rain, the plans change because everybody knows you don't go near the fucking storm drain / sewer when it's raining because that's where all the rainwater goes.
Yeah.
But also, okay, speaking of umbrage with this movie, like where does it rain? Like, are there lots of freak rainstorms in Indiana? Like, I feel like in this movie, they got like caught in the rain like more times than seems reasonable.
Midwest people out there, tell us.
Yeah, it struck me that like all of a sudden it was like lightly raining and she gets in the storm drain and then all of a sudden it's a monsoon.
But I feel like that's actually kind of like typical wherever you live.
Is it? Like, I don't know. I mean, again, I don't hang out in storm drains, so I don't really know this as fact.
They're stinky and, you know, they're not pleasant. You're only there for a purpose. In my case, to sign a log.
I mean, honestly, I didn't
like a flash flood.
I didn't realize that people could actually go into them. I've seen raccoons go into them, but it's a little small for a person. Yeah. At least the ones I've seen. It did not.
Yeah, you need knee pads for those and helmets. I wrecked one of my exercise shirts. It was a neon yellow one, which is what my storm drain shirt generally is a neon yellow one, so people can always see me. I got this black tar because we were like crouching over because it wasn't tall enough to stand. It was like, 4 feet tall. And I got this black tar from it on. It's like forever wrecked. So now it's definitely my permanent storm drain shirt. I'm going to stop talking now.
I'm glad you have a storm drain shirt and you're at least safe.
I call it my sewer shirt, but
Okay, cool.
Semantics.
Great. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, no, you don't go into the sewers. Pro tip out there, guys. Just don't do it if it's going to rain, if it was just raining. Like, it's where the water goes. Like,
yeah.
Poor Crazy Pete.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the first kiss scene? I love that scene.
Yes.
Then
we got some feedback about that.
Okay, we can.
I mean, just like a one sentence comment.
Okay, we can. I think they both do such a great job acting in that scene.
Yeah.
Like you could like feel like his nervousness, her uncomfortableness. They're both like being like, yeah, let's do this. Like, I loved it then and I love it now.
Yeah. Is this before or after?
You love it now and then?
After. Oh. I love it now and then. But I also love narration. That was the day Roberta stopped having her boobs. And Devon Sawa really does a great job in this movie. And maybe I'm biased because, as I've said before, I love his Twitter account. But I don't know, I don't know. I love everybody's coming of age stuff. I don't know. I love the whole movie. I love it so much.
And did we confirm that this movie came out before Casper or after Casper?
It's before Casper.
Okay.
After Casper. It's after Casper.
So they already knew. They sort of had like a rapport as kid actors.
Yeah.
Wait. Wait. I'm Googling it now. Casper came out in 1995 also.
Oh, I knew Casper was 95. I thought this was 96 or 97.
I thought this was 95, and that's what I put in the outline. But
you're right, it is 95.
Yeah, they were busy.
Yeah.
Hold on. Which came out first? Okay, the first of the two movies where Christina Ricci's love interest is Devon Sawa. The second, so Casper came out first.
Okay.
But that's not even necessarily to say that
it doesn't matter though.
That one was shot, like the order in which they shot them, because he's really only in like that last scene.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the movie. So it's you don't know. Interesting
indeed. I don't know. I love it. They're all such and in both movies, both sets of teen actors, they all do such a great job.
Oh, they're so good.
They're all so good. I can't even. I was thinking about this week. What movies like this exist for generations after ours? Is it like High School Musical? I have no idea.
I wonder, because arguably, we wouldn't have been necessarily paying attention.
No, because we would have been in college or early in our careers, post college. I don't know.
Young millennials, tell us.
Or old Gen Zs. But young millennials, really.
Yeah.
What was your thing? Truly, I don't know.
What was your now and then?
Yeah. What was your coming of age movie?
And if you didn't have one, might I suggest watching Now and Then? Brandon Fraser's in it.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Oh my God. When I saw him in there, I had completely forgot that. I don't even think I knew at the time who Brandon Fraser was, because The Mummy hadn't come out yet and George of the Jungle hadn't come out yet.
Yeah.
I don't think.
No, I think it came out after. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I just recently rewatched the first Mummy.
Yeah, my first memory of Brendan Fraser might have been this movie.
It's amazing.
Yeah. A real treat.
Yes.
Oh man, and he was. Oh
my God, more kids smoking.
Yeah.
And drinking pop though, or whatever it was.
Right. Yes.
But he was the Vietnam vet.
Yep.
Who gave them some real life advice.
Yeah.
Right. And I had remembered, I remembered that vet character was
I did too.
But it went on to become a notable actor, but I had forgotten who it was until as soon as the scene you see him walking, I'm like, shit, that's Brendan.
That's Brendan Fraser. Yeah.
It is. What the hell?
And I just had no idea. I remember the scene that there was an actor. I didn't remember who the actor was. I didn't know that they wanted to be notable, but I was like, motherfucker, you won an Academy Award last night.
Yeah.
Which, again, Fatsu, what?
I know.
It's 2023, people. What the fuck are we doing?
I know. His award was really a Lifetime Achievement Award. As was Jamie Lee Curtis's. But
yeah.
But that's okay.
But I do I have to say that the whole thing with the vet, it's it's sort of, obviously age inappropriate, but so believable that obviously they would think he's so cool and want to talk to him. And I just love that they didn't take it to any creepy place.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just perfect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else? I love at the end, talking about the boob jokes or whatever. She's like, Roberta, or Teeny, how big are your boobs now? This is another thing that I have remembered this line forever in the inflection. 30-60 and worth every penny.
She's awesome.
I could also see Goldie Hawn playing that character if Melanie Griffith wasn't.
I couldn't remember who it was. I was like, oh, Melanie Griffith, Goldie Hawn.
I kind of did too. And then
I was like, no, she was in First Wives Club. That can't be.
Exactly.
That doesn't work. That math is wrong. But then I was also doing the math of like, okay, they were 12 in 1970. So how old would they be now?
Yeah.
And I think, and my math could be wrong. Check me, folk. But like they would have been like 37, 38.
Really?
Yeah. Which even by like 90 standards would be kind of
old to have a baby.
Yeah. I mean, don't knock it till you try it, folks. It's not that old.
I hear those AMA, that sonogram every week is pretty great, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I didn't make it that far. I got through like 2 weeks of it.
That's right. Every month, though. Did you get the sonograms every month?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. That sucked. Not for any reason other than like I wanted one.
Yeah.
And they just wouldn't give me one. And I was like, well, come on. I want to know what's going on in there. And they were like, you're only 34. You should have waited a year. And I was like, damn it. Okay. Anyway, gosh, now I kind of want to go back. Do we know that the movie takes place in the year it comes out?
That's true. We don't. I just sort of based it off of,
But that would be because it took place in 1970.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like just present day. So like, if they shot it in like 94 and then released it in 95.
But that's 25 years still.
Yeah.
So if they're 12, you're right. 12 plus 25 equals 37. Well,
yeah, which I think is also like pretty like cool. And like, I think now that I sort of am that age and to look back and sort of like, it's weird to now see yourself in a different way that it's like, right. I feel like particularly in the 90s, that would have been considered like very old to be having your first kid.
Yeah.
So it's like
in the 90s, but not now.
No, I mean, well, I guess it, I'm sure it's regional, but like depending on where you are, but yeah.
Right.
I feel like
Lauren Boebert's about to be a grandma at 36. So.
Exactly.
Right. Not this region.
Right.
Yeah. But I feel like, the sort of threshold of when a woman can choose to be a mother has relaxed a little. And granted, science has inched along a little bit further because, it is still like lady parts. So we don't put too much.
Right.
Like scientific muscle behind it, but
and 25 years is technically enough time for Teeny to have like 5 husbands.
Yep. So. Yeah.
No, but overall, like I'm so happy we watched this movie. I love it so much. I'm so glad that I had the excuse to go back and watch it.
Yeah, to like see it again as an adult. Like I'd forgotten Cloris Leachman was in it. Like she just makes everything better. Like when she's running out of the house and she puts like her extra hair on her head, like a hat. Like a hat.
Cloris Leachman.
She just like makes everything better.
Truly. She was in the famous in the McAllister household growing up Olsen twin movie, Double Double Trouble in Trouble.
Oh my God, when you said famous in the McAllister house, I went straight to Home Alone.
Yeah.
That took me a second. I was like, I don't remember that.
No. Cloris, there's so many people in that movie.
Yeah.
Hank Azaria's in that movie.
Yep, Hank Azaria's in that movie.
Janine Garofalo.
Janine
Garofalo. So great. So great.
Little Rumor Willis is in that movie.
Well, who's Little Rumor Willis?
She plays Sam's younger sister.
No way.
Yeah. Yes way.
Oh my God.
Demi Moore's oldest child.
Daughter. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bruce Willis and Demi Moore's oldest child.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, Nepo baby in action.
Right.
Nepo baby in action. Was that her first and only role?
No, she's done like things. I feel like she was in the reboot of Beverly Hills 90210.
Okay.
I used to watch that show. Very entertaining too. Very predictable. It was very enjoyable.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. I just learned this now. Wow.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm going to go back and watch a scene with her.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Oh, 2 other like little things that I wrote down. One, I'd forgotten how much I love like the birth scene where like Rita Wilson looks at Rosie O'Donnell and she's like, you know, like, thank you. Like she mouths to her, like, thank you. And like Rosie mouths back, I love you. And it's like,
yeah,
it's just like, it's such a genuine moment. And I'm just like, oh, that's so good. For like actors that are prone to overacting. Like, it's just such a beautiful scene. And I love it to bits. It's like,
it is beautiful.
Even like now as an adult, like it just hits me like totally different. And I was just like, oh God. And the crane shot at the very end coming up over the tree house. I swear to God, the camera shakes.
Oh.
And as a kid, I wouldn't have noticed it because I wasn't looking for it. But I was like, I didn't move, right? That was the TV.
I love that it starts and ends with Red Rover, Red Rover.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little cheesy.
Oh,
but,
no,
like,
I love that stuff.
Kid me like was like, oh my God, full circle. Oh. Adult me was like, okay, guys, a little heavy-handed.
Oh, I love that shit still. Agreed. Oh, yay.
This was great. I loved this pairing. It was so great to revisit these movies that I hadn't seen in a very, very long time and to talk about them.
And the soundtrack was also awesome.
Yeah, also a great soundtrack.
Also
so
great,
good.
Yeah.
Every single song, like knock 3 times on the ceiling if you wanna know.
Well, and like and the music was well integrated. Yeah, it was like the music was well integrated into the story, like little things like that, where they're like, you know, it's playing on the radio on their bike, and like it was well like
sugar do 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 do, or oh honey honey,
you are my candy girl.
Got me watching you.
Yes, I did just substitute my own name.
I know, and I loved it.
And you know what? I'm never going to sing it any other way now.
I don't think there's a reason to.
I might make that the episode title.
Oh,
you are our Shandy Girl. All right. I'm sure we'll have plenty more to say after we get the feedback. So let's take a quick break and we will hear what everybody else has to say. All right, we are back. We are ready to get into some feedback. We are actually only going to do the feedback for these episodes tonight since we are running a little bit long. We've got some other awesome feedback that we will read next week. So we'll start with Paul, who said in the Facebook group that he's only seen Stand By Me, but is a top 5 movie of all time. It's definitely up there for me. I don't know if it's top 5, but it's definitely up there. Love it. And then we have an email from Matt, and then we have a voicemail and an email from Maggie. So we'll do the email from Matt first, and then we'll do the Maggie.
All right. Matt writes in Stand By Me versus Now and Then. Hey, broads.
Hold on, Matt. Why does it have to be a competition?
Exactly. Yes. Good question. Hey, broads. So for this month, we have 2 coming-of-age movies involving death, starring several promising young actors, but also someone who died tragically in their 20s. Stand By Me and Now and Then. I'm sure you probably talked about a lot of the bits I would probably bring up, like Thora Birch's parents being in Deep Throat. I'm sorry, what? And her creepy dad
Deep Throat, the movie.
Yeah.
It isn't Deep Throat the
Yes.
The porn?
Okay.
The super famous porn. I did not know that.
Yep. No.
That was the pause. And her creepy dad torpedoing her career. I did not know that either. That's fucking tragic.
Didn't know any of that.
This time, I know we're going to disagree on one of the films. Oh, and here we go. Stand By Me is still a classic, so now we know which one we're going to disagree on. Directed by Rob Reiner, amidst several classic films. This is Spinal Tap, Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, A Few Good Men. Yeah, there are words there that don't fly and shouldn't ever have flown in the first place, but it is an accurate depiction of male friendship, aka weird. The 4 boys have great chemistry and their quest ultimately leading to a sobering end of innocence moment. Now that I'm behind the blast doors and they are secure, we have Now and Then. Shots are going to be fired here. To get the good first, I think the 4 girls have similar solid chemistry to the boys in Stand By Me. While most of the characters are fairly one note, the younger actors do a good job with what they have. And while they sometimes follow the Robert Zemeckis school of obvious song choices, hey, someone was walking with boots, whatever song will we score this to? Like Stand By Me, the wall-to-wall soundtrack is pretty good. A huge problem, probably its biggest, is the book-ending segments involving the characters as adults. These bits are a complete waste of time. The four adults lack any chemistry that would make the vow they made as teenagers have any weight. I mean, I think that's kind of part of it, is they've grown apart and gone different ways. But I continue. These four act like they didn't even notice each other, let alone had some lifelong bond. Had they been integrated into the movie as a whole, maybe this would play better. But as it is, it feels painfully tacked on to help boost box office and to cash in on the nostalgia trends from the Wonder Years and Stand By Me. The through lines are also flimsy. While I can maybe get on board with them fixating on this random kid they never knew who died before they were born, any impact it has on the four is told, not shown. None of these characters change, as we see in those awful bookends 20 years later, where they are exactly the same from their tween counterparts. Yes, Stand By Me also tells us what happens to the characters, but we see in the rest of the film that those kids will never be the same. Now and then it's just a collection of stuff that happens. So much of it done better in Stand By Me.
Wow. I can't disagree more.
No, they want to buy a treehouse, and then they do at the end. We never see any kind of connection that leads to them buying it. That's actually, I would argue that's not really the point. The low point is the whole Crazy Pete storyline, a warmed over ripoff of the Home Alone movies. Hey, we did mention Home Alone.
Yeah.
The first of which came out almost 5 years earlier. While maybe the individual moments can work, as a whole, it doesn't work as a movie. It feels like a TV show they crammed into 100 minutes. Ina King, the writer, would eventually create Pretty Little Liars.
Oh, that I didn't know either.
I didn't know that either. But seriously, no, you're wrong.
Since this is last minute, I'll start to wrap this up by going back to the movie I liked. One of the revelations. How can you think Stand By Me is better than Now? One of the revelations.
Honestly, Matt, you've never been a teenage girl, so really, I don't take anything that what you just said about that movie as valid. The end.
Yeah, I wonder though. It's like, do you like Stand By Me better because you were once a 12-year-old boy and not once a 12-year-old girl? And like, maybe do we not see some of your critiques because we were once a 12-year-old girl? So we apply a lot of ourselves into, like, we just relate to the source material more, so you can kind of forgive it its flaws.
Yeah. Also, These Boots Are Made for Walking is a wonderful song.
Yeah.
All right. Sinatra version, not the Jessica Simpson version. Okay, although that was fine too, I guess. But that came out when I was in 6th grade.
Let's go. Let's land this plane.
Let's land this plane. I'm sure that Matt is just checking off his bingo card right now as he's listening to our responses.
Right. Well, Matt continues. One of the revelations of this movie is River Phoenix, who only turned 16 a few days after the film's release. This kid had talent beyond his years, which makes his passing at 23 even worse. Certainly, his brother has built an enviable resume in his own right, but Rivers certainly could still be doing amazing things if he were still here, and that makes his character's fate sting all the more. Ashley Aston Moore, who was out of the business for a decade when she died in 2007 at 26, is also heartbreaking. So to try to end on a lighter note, did you know we are all older than almost the entire adult core casts? Amanda is younger than Richard Dreyfuss was when Stand By Me was. Yay.
I was in watching it, I was sort of like, how old would have Richard Dreyfuss been at this movie? And then I didn't care enough to actually look it up because he looked the hair, like he just looked older,
He's
like
always
the hairline. He's just always like, I think he is just like he just is an actor that just always looks a little older.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Not his fault. It's just his face. It's not his fault.
And also, Ashley Ashton Moore is the actress that plays young Chrissy.
Yes.
She died of an accidental heroin overdose.
Oh, no.
So just like
the fate of so many.
Yeah, River Phoenix.
Too many.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It's really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry in advance for my negative review of Now and Then. I'm sure next time will be better when you're doing Handmaid's Tale.
We're not doing
Don't
Handmaid's
bother.
Tale.
Life's too short. Matt. I mean, I enjoyed it. Yeah,
I also liked your don't bother. I feel like that was a very good Matt embodiment of how he would have said that. I think the way you delivered that line felt very like you were imbuing it with how I think Matt intended its delivery.
I kind of do too. All those years of Matt's what she said, you finally got it. You got
it.
Nice.
I didn't know that Ashley Moore passed away, so that makes me sad. Your whole dislike of the movie makes me sad, and I cannot disagree with it more.
Yeah.
Also, they want to buy a treehouse, so it doesn't matter. It's not the ending; it's the journey. All these movies,
it is the journey, and like
it's about
that's the impetus for them doing some of the odd jobs, trying to make money. That's like, the whole thing when they go and like get Cokes or whatever. It's like, how much are they going to spend? Because this is their joint shared treehouse money. They do get a treehouse, and she fucking keeps it because she keeps everything. Mm-hmm. At least the treehouse isn't in plastic, and they get to.
Oh yeah, grown-up Chrissy's totally a hoarder.
I also want to know how they got up into that treehouse with that newborn baby, with that infant baby. How did they get the infant baby up into the treehouse?
Oh,
with a stork. Created. I don't know.
Yeah, the stork flew it up, or Roberta created some kind
like
of
a Moses basket.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, please don't break. Please don't break.
She's like, Roberta, as long as you don't say boobs or swear.
Right.
Oh my God. We interacted as we went along.
Yeah. Matt knows where we stand. Thank you for the feedback, though.
But thank you for the feedback.
But you are wrong, sir.
It's another agree to disagree moment for us.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, we've got an email from Maggie, a voicemail from Maggie. Let's play it. Here we go.
Hey, Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen. It's Maggie. I literally just finished Now and Then. Stuffed the DVD, put it away. I realized I owned Now and Then on DVD. Did not realize that until the other day when I looked, because it wasn't available to stream. So, I mean, spoiler alert, I like that movie. I've always liked that movie. I really love
Take that, Matt.
You're that
the girls and the women. I've forgotten how many people are in that movie. Like, there's so many. I mean, yeah, I just really love Now and Then. I always do. I mean, I'm a sucker for any movie with female
that are good.
Made me cry twice. So yeah, it's a fun movie. Didn't love some of the chat comments, but there's definitely less in Now and Then than there was in Stand By Me. I had never watched Stand By Me until today, so I'm not sure how, but I never have. I mean, the cast in that movie is kind of amazing, kind of crazy. I liked it. I definitely prefer Now and Then, but I really liked the friendship between Chris and Gordy, and I thought that was really powerful. And I really wanted Gordy to get his hat back. I wanted him to get his hat back, his brother's hat back from Kiefer Sutherland's.
Oh my God, yes. That broke my heart.
I forgot he didn't get it back.
Definitely some things in there that was like, oh, that's not great. But again, the amount of people in that movie that went on have had careers. So, yeah, that's my kind of late night 2 cents. After I finished it, I can't wait to hear what you ladies think, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So Maggie definitely agree with Maggie Moore. I don't want to play favorites and say that Maggie had the better voicemail, but that Maggie had the feedback that I liked better.
Well, you can say she had the better voicemail because
she had the only voicemail.
She had the best of the voicemails we received.
Yeah,
That's like when Jay's mom always says, "You're my favorite son."
exactly. Mm-hmm.
He's your only son, for anybody that didn't get that. Maggie also finishes with an email, an addition about Now and Then. And she says, after I hung up, I started listening to a Savage Love podcast from a few weeks ago. They were talking about consent. It reminded me, I love that Devin Sawa's Scott asked Roberta if he could kiss her. I feel like that was kind of big for 1995. Yes! Oh my God, I should have mentioned that. That is huge. Yeah.
It was pretty great.
Such a cute scene.
Yeah.
It's such a cute scene.
So great.
Yeah.
God, like I was brought back to being a teenager that didn't kiss anybody.
I was going to say I was brought back to being a teenager.
Who wasn't kissing boys. It's like, goals, maybe someday.
I was like, how do people even do this? How are there people who would do this?
I was like, oh, the nerves. And this person was brave enough to ask. I wish somebody was brave enough to ask me.
I know, especially if he looked like Devin Sawa.
I know. Or I was brave enough to ask somebody.
A human can dream.
Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, I'm so glad that Devin Sawa did not go the Dean Cain route. And
I know. I'm glad. It's like we can still have that one nice thing.
Yes.
I know. And Will Wheaton actually did not grow up to go the Dean Cain route either.
Yeah, he's done a lot of good work for like mental health and stuff and normalizing that. Will Wheaton, big thumbs up.
Mm-hmm. Maggie, thank you so much for the feedback. We appreciate it. And Now and Then. Long live Now and Then. And stand by me. Thank you all, though, for your feedback. We appreciate it. We'll get to the rest of the feedback next week, in which we will, again, be live for the patrons. Can't wait to talk about that. As I play us out, actually, so remember last week I talked about that song, Cinderella Snapped?
Yeah, I pulled it up. I love it.
You? Okay, Mandy did too. Mandy did too, and she also messaged me that she loved it. I was going to save that feedback for next week, but she loved it, and I was talking to her on Messenger, and she mentioned, and I was like, oh, she also has these other songs. One is called Victoria's Secret, and it's like, I know Victoria's Secret. She was made up by a dude. And like, it's a really fun song too, but like she also has a song, I think I mentioned it last week, called 90s Kids. So there's a part in the chorus. It basically, it's like American Pie, but for our generation and not 10 minutes long, 3 minutes long. And this mentions all the things that we grew up with, because the singer must be our age. And the chorus is, so light it up, we're hella fucked up. Something, hit me one more time like Britney, bitch. And it's really fun. Like, it basically just puts a whole bunch of things from like when we were growing up. Like, we're going down with the ship Leonardo. And it's really fun. And never let go. But I figured that I would play us out with this. It is like 2 minutes long, actually. All of her songs, which are also great, is that they're very short. They're very to the point.
The Ramones school of songwriting.
Exactly. However, I thought that it'd be fun to play that out because we talked about 2 coming-of-age movies, and this song by Jax, J-A-X, is basically our coming-of-age song. Everything that is in this song is things that I think we would all remember fondly. Unfortunately, neither of these movies are referenced in them, but other movies that we grew up with are. So I'm going to play that out after we say goodbye. Tune in for that if you want to. But in the meantime, thank you all for the feedback. If you have any other feedback, anything we said tonight, thebroadcasters3@gmail.com or 331-276-2373, or just leave it in the Facebook group. That's fine too. Thank you to patrons, especially the ones that contribute at a certain level. And that would be Eckhart Rickner, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with the Plan, Ed the Creepy Poopy Head Mailman. We're going to have a patrons bonus coming out soon. Check out the Survivor patron bonus. In the meantime, Survivor JJC is out there now if you're a Survivor fan. And the Rumblecast After Dark, of course. So did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, on that note, enjoy the song that wraps up our childhood. And have a good week. We'll see you next week. On that note, my name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Tell them that we do it for the 90s. It's our generation, we need conversation. In a nation with no communication, a little easy baked in. We're kinda lost, yeah, but we're on a break, man. Rachel and Ross said, we're going down with the ship Leonardo. Put on your box and your docs and we'll kick it at the bar. No cash, but we turn it up to 10, though. Fam, I'm just trying to get Super Smash Nintendo. So light it up, we're hella fucked up. Take a hit, me one more time like Britney, bitch. Bottoms up, here's to us. Tell them that we do it for the 90s kids. Whoa! Tell them that we do it for the 90s kids. Whoa! Tell them that we do it for the 90s. Chilling on the rooftop, s'mores and brat stalls. Where's some more what? You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls. We're going down with the ship Leonardo. Put on your box and your docs and we'll kick it at the bar. No cash, but we turn it up to 10, though. Fam, I'm just trying to get Super Smash Nintendo. So light it up, we're hella fucked up. Take a hit, me one more time like Britney, bitch. Bottoms up. To us, tell them that we do it for the 90s kids. Whoa! Tell them that we do it for the 90s kids. Whoa! Tell them that we do it for the 90s. Do you got a Tamagotchi? Like a real Tamagotchi? 'Cause you know what time I got you. If you time I got me. Oh no, it died. So light it up, we're hella fucked up. Take a hit, me one more time like Britney, bitch. Bottoms up, here's to us. Tell them that we do it for the 90s kids. Whoa! Tell them that we do it for the 90s kids. Whoa! Do it for the 90s.